Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back for another great day of learning. We're your teachers today. I'm Miss Amanda.
And I'm Miss Brandy. We are so glad to be with you today for tons of fun, reading, and knowledge.
Now, we have a great learning goal today. We're going to begin learning about the cycles that we can observe in nature. We will learn in what ways the earth moves and how that movement is related to our daytime and our nighttime. Those are the cycles, all right? And that's even related to our seasons. Our focus standards today are RI.2.3, L.2.4, and SL.2.2.
That's right. There are several kinds of cycles that occur in nature. Some repeat over a long period of time, and other cycles repeat very quickly.
Now, before we get started learning about the daytime and nighttime cycles, let's review some important information that you may have learned in an earlier lesson.
Yes, you may recall learning that when something repeats or happens over and over again, it's called a cycle. There are cycles happening all around us.
Yes, and there's always a starting point to that cycle where it comes back and starts over again. So I bet you have already learned about some of these kinds of events.
Yes, like days of the week and even the cycle of school years.
Exactly. So friends, I have a question for you to think about. Are you ready? Can you feel the earth moving under your feet? If you answered no, you're absolutely correct. While that may have seemed like a silly question, you may remember learning that the earth definitely is moving. But it's moving so quickly, but our earth is so big and we can't even really feel it.
I remember that the earth rotates or spins around its axis, and that earth also orbits or moves around in a path around the sun.
That's absolutely right. Now, the two ways the earth moves are the rotation on its axis and its orbit around the sun.
Oh, wow! I can hardly wait to hear more. I bet the students at home can show us some things too.
Oh, I bet you're right. So, boys and girls, can you stand up at home and show us how the earth rotates? Go ahead, stand up in front of your television. Now try to spin in place and stop right where you started. Go ahead. Did you spin all the way around?
That was fantastic. That was exactly like the earth rotating on its axis. How can you move to show its orbit? Maybe you can walk slowly around a piece of furniture. What a great way to show an orbit. You guys are so smart.
So today you'll be learning more about an important cycle in nature called daytime and nighttime. That's the cycle we'll discuss.
Yes. So let's take a look at some words that we'll need to know for our story today. And then we can learn all about what makes daytime and nighttime. We'll use this vocabulary chart to show what we'll learn about those important words and what we'll hear in our read aloud today.
Fantastic. That sounds great. All right, so it looks like our very first word is axis. All right, boys and girls, when we say what word, that means that it's your turn to say the word back to us. Let's try it. The word is axis. What word? Yes, axis.
Axis means a real or an imaginary line around which an object spins. So I'm going to add this word axis to our anchor chart. Axis. Now, listen for the word in the sentence. The axis of Earth is an imaginary line drawn through the North and South poles. Did you listen for our word axis? Good job.
Perfect. Now, our next word is cycle. What word? Yes, cycle.
Cycle means the period of time it takes to complete a sequence of events. We can add that word to our chart also. Cycle. Listen for the word in this sentence. The life cycle of a frog includes the egg, the tadpole, and the adult frog. Did you hear the word cycle? You're such a good listener.
That was fantastic. You're going to be vocabulary all-stars. Now, our next word is rotating. What word? Yes, the word is rotating.
Rotating means turning around a central point. We can add this word to our vocabulary chart also. Rotate. Here's a sentence with rotate. As I pedal my bike, the tires will rotate to keep me moving. Did you hear the word rotate was used in the sentence? Good job.
You are so good at this. Now, our last word before we listen to the story is thrive. What word? Yes, that's it. Thrive.
And this word means when a living thing grows and develops well. Let's add it to our chart. Thrive. Listen for the word thrive in this sentence. With such an abundance of green grass and clover to eat, the sheep will thrive. Did you hear the word thrive? Good listening.
Perfect. Now, our vocabulary chart is complete.
Yes. And now we know some very important words that we're going to hear in our story today about daytime and the nighttime cycle. Let's take a moment to review the vocabulary that we just learned.
Wonderful idea. Now, I'll read and you be my echo at home, okay? The first word was axis. What word? Yes, axis. Now, I'll read the definition for axis. Remember, you echo read after me. Real or imaginary line around which an object spins. Ah.
Great echo reading. Can you think of your own sentence with the word axis? Good job.
Let's try another word. The word is cycle. What word? Yes, cycle. Echo the definition after me. The period of time it takes to complete a sequence of events.
You're doing so great. Think of your own sentence using the word cycle. That's a fantastic sentence.
Let's keep going. Now, the next word is rotating. What word? Rotating. Echo read after me. Turning around a central point.
Wow, you guys are really good echo readers. Now, create a sentence with the word.
Great job. Now, our last word was thrive. What word? Yes, thrive. I'll read the definition. You echo after me. When a living thing grows and develops well.
That was awesome. Tell us your own sentence using the word thrive. Great job.
I am so excited to learn more about those words today, Miss Brandy. Now, boys and girls, are you ready to hear our story about cycles? Great, I am too.
Our story begins by discussing how a cycle is like a circle that goes around and around. Just like there are circular objects that go around and around. There are also many natural cycles that occur on Earth that happen again and again also. A cycle is a sequence of events that repeats itself again and again.
Just like you can pick any part of the circle to be the starting point, we choose one part of each natural cycle to be our starting point. This makes it easier to talk about all the parts of the cycle. The most important thing to remember is that cycles always come back to the chosen starting point before starting over again.
All living things are part of a cycle of life that keeps going around and around. Well, what does this mean? It means that almost all living things are born, they grow, they reproduce, and eventually die. The reproduction of living things is one way that life continues on Earth. Earth spins around and around, a never-ending cycle that shapes everything we do here on Earth. As Earth turns around, part of it faces the sun and part of it faces away from the sun. Can you guess what cycle happens when our part of the Earth faces the sun and then rotates to face away from the sun?
Did you guess the cycle of daytime and nighttime? The cycle of daytime and nighttime is the result of our planet rotating or spinning around on an imaginary line called an axis. What's an axis? Well, imagine a spinning basketball turning around and around.
Then try to picture an imaginary line running through the basketball from top to the bottom. That imaginary line is what we call an axis. Earth's axis passes through the north and south poles. It takes 24 hours for Earth to rotate or spin one time on its axis.
Rotation is the movement of Earth on its axis. This controls the cycle of daytime and nighttime. Earth takes 24 hours to turn or rotate back to the position from which it started. Rotation takes us from daytime to nighttime and back to the very beginning of daytime again, before the cycle starts over.
As our Earth rotates, light from the sun falls on one half of the Earth. We call this daytime. The other half of Earth is in darkness, and we call this nighttime. As Earth continues to rotate, the part of Earth that had sunlight moves into darkness, and the part that had darkness moves into the sunlight. This is a never-ending cycle of daytime and nighttime.
The cycle of daytime and nighttime begins with sunrise in the early morning. Sunlight hits our planet and moves across the Earth from east to west. When we see the sun rising in the east in the morning and setting in the west in the evening, it is because of the Earth's rotation or its spinning.
For people on Earth, it makes sense to say that the sun rises in the morning. Each morning at dawn, the sun appears in the eastern sky on the horizon. The horizon is the line we see in the distance where the ground meets the sky. At dawn, some people say, "Look, the sun is coming up." This first appearance of the sun above the eastern horizon is called sunrise.
Over the course of the day, the sun appears to move across the sky, gradually following its path from east to west. In the evening, the sun sets in the west.
And ever so slowly, it gets lower in the sky and disappears below the horizon. That's when people say the sun is going down. This disappearance of the sun below the western horizon is called sunset.
Based on what we can see from where we live on Earth, it seems sensible to say that the sun moves across the sky each day, rising or moving up in the east and setting or sinking down in the west. But that's not actually true. It is the daily rotation or spin of the Earth that makes the sun appear to rise and set each day.
This daily rotation explains why there is always daytime and nighttime on Earth. As it spins, certain parts of Earth's surface face the sun, receiving its heat and light. When it's light on one side of the Earth, it's dark on the other side. So if it's daytime where you are now, then on the other side of the Earth, it's nighttime. And the children there are sound asleep. And then when you are nestled in your bed tonight, children on the other side of the planet will be waking up to a bright new day.
How does the cycle of daytime and nighttime affect living things on Earth? The sun is extremely important to life on Earth. All plants and animals and people rely on the sun in order to thrive or grow well. The sun's energy gives life to plants, which in turn nourishes animals and people. The sun's heat keeps the surface of the earth warm enough for plants and animals to survive. In the next few lessons, we'll learn all about how the sun affects living things throughout the 4 seasons. Whoa, what a great story about daytime and nighttime.
Yes, there was a lot of information in that story.
Oh, there sure was. Now, boys and girls, we have heard all of the information from the read aloud. Let's see what you can tell us about cycles.
Miss Amanda, they were such good listeners during that vocabulary activity. I'm sure they'll do a wonderful job with these questions.
I have no doubt. Now, remember our focus standard is about making connections, so let's start there. What causes daytime and nighttime? I'll give you some think time.
That's a good question. I think I remember that the Earth's rotation is what gives us night and day.
Great answer. Now, I'm going to use this globe, and I'll use this flashlight to represent the Earth and the sun. This will help me demonstrate how the sun's light shines on the Earth.
What a great way to show the Earth rotating. I can really picture that now. When the sun shines on our part of the Earth, we have daytime. And when the Earth rotates away, we have nighttime.
You've got it. And then the cycle starts all over again.
Keep those models out. I think I'm going to need those to help me understand.
All right, I'll set them right here so we can grab them when we need them again.
Okay.
Now, I think you're ready for another question. What was the main topic of our read aloud? Boys and girls at home, what's your answer?
I believe that we heard that it was mostly about the cycle of daytime and nighttime.
Well, that's exactly right. Your answer made me think of a vocabulary word. So let me ask you a question about that.
Okay.
And you too. What is a cycle?
That was a vocabulary word earlier in the lesson, and I think I remember that a cycle was something that happens over and over again.
Great answer. You were a very good listener, Miss Brandy, and I know that you were too. Now, boys and girls, I'm sure you're doing great on these questions. Are you ready for another one? Miss Brandy, how about you?
I'm ready.
All right. In terms of light, what is the difference between daytime and nighttime?
I think I remember hearing that the sun is what gives us light. So the sun shines on a particular half of the earth during the daytime, but there's darkness on the other half at nighttime.
Perfect. That's exactly right. You really know your daytime and nighttime cycles. Now, for this next question, boys and girls, you're going to need a partner, all right? Find someone in your home so we can do a think, pair, share.
I remember these from other lessons, but can you explain it just in case those at home aren't familiar with it?
Of course, of course. All right. When we use think, pair, share, you and a partner will hear a question and take turns thinking about it and then answering it out loud.
Great. I think I'll enjoy answering a question with my friend.
Now, if you have a partner or a friend in your home and you're ready, here's the question. Remember, you'll take turns thinking and answering that same question, okay? The question is, how would life on Earth be different if the Earth did not rotate? All right, now let your partner answer. Great thinking, both of you. How do you think life will be different?
Since we learned that Earth rotates to give us all daytime and nighttime, I think life would be either daytime all the time or maybe nighttime all the time. I don't know that I would really like either one of those.
I agree. Now, there are times that I wish the sun was out a little longer, but I don't think I'd like it out all the time. I definitely wouldn't like to be dark all the time.
No. Boys and girls at home, you did such a great job answering those questions and participating in the activity. I'm sure your family is so proud of all the knowledge you're showing them.
Now, our next activity will involve learning more about one of our vocabulary words also. In the read aloud, you heard all plants, animals, and people rely on the sun in order to tend or in order to thrive or grow well. Say the word thrive. All right. Now, thrive means to grow and develop well. I could do it like this. When a living thing receives the things it needs to grow and develop, it will thrive. All right, try using thrive in a sentence. Ah, nice job.
Those are wonderful things to think about. When I think about things that thrive in the summertime, I think about flowers that I see outside. They get plenty of sunshine and the water they need when I water them.
Right. Flowers are a great example of something that would thrive during the summertime. All right? Now, think about other things that we've learned about the daytime and nighttime cycle. I can't wait to hear more about the seasons as we learn more. Now, let's review what we learned. Miss Brandy, will you hold this flashlight for us?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Remember, what was the imaginary line through the center of the earth?
I think it was called axis.
Aha! That's the way the earth spins, right, on its axis. It always rotates in this direction, tilted, not straight up and down, okay?
That rotation is what gives us daytime and nighttime. And we wouldn't be able to grow food if we didn't have it.
That's exactly right. Now, I'm going to put a sticker in the region where I live, here around Mississippi. All right? That way I can show you the daytime and nighttime cycle for where I live.
What a great idea. We can follow the path of the sun all the way around.
Yes. If it's daytime where I live, here, then it's nighttime on this side of the earth. That's opposite from me.
I am so glad you brought that globe in today because that's a great way to show daytime and nighttime.
Now, I have had so much fun today working with you, Miss Brandy, and working with you at home about the cycles of daytime and nighttime.
Me too, Miss Amanda. Boys and girls, please join us again soon as we continue to explore all kinds of cycles in our world. Thank you for doing your very best today. Be sure to share something you learned today with someone in your home or your friends.
That's right. Now, all rights and credits for today's lesson belong to Core Knowledge Language Arts. We would like to thank them for publicly sharing these valuable resources. The views and opinions expressed in this lesson are those of Core Knowledge authors and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Mississippi Department of Education. Thank you again for joining us today, scholars. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.